The pool episode is here. I'll be honest, I expect zero like actual things to progress here. Like I really don't think so. I think it's heavy fan service episode. That's about as far as I think we're gonna go. The only progression and thing that I think that we will actually see here ends up coming from AI kind of interacting and really being able to see kind of the chemistry and stuff between her and the other girls. I think is the only real thing that we're going to get out of this, which is good, and it's of course necessary. I mean, we had to have the whole thing with how Shizuko was going to kind of mingle, I guess, with the others, right, and how they were going to work together. Being able to see that again here, of course, works, but because of the situation and where we're going and everything, I'd argue that won't be the case. I'm going to assume Hakari was the one who proposed us go here and us do this, and this is a good moment for us all to bond and do whatever. As somebody who has assets and things that she wants to show off, of course, I'm assuming more exposed is her end goal here, is a way to kind of flaunt things as opposed to somebody else like Karne, who can't, right? So I'm assuming that would be the situation. I'm assuming Shizuka's just going to be adorable, and then the other two, I don't necessarily know how they're going to kind of approach this or take this. I mean, we understand, I think everybody does, how Karne is going to kind of feel at these moments and how she's going to act. She's probably going to struggle to kind of be okay, probably cover herself up a lot more in comparison to the others. Where they all go, I don't know. Especially AI, I have zero clue where she could go. I'd assume, honestly, she probably doesn't care enough, and she would just wear whatever she finds to be the most optimal thing in this moment. So whatever that would actually end up being, which I actually don't have any sort of clue. So whatever that is, she'll end up doing. If you like it all, like and subscribe to me. Lots, maybe have a great Instagram for the discussion. Leave it in the comments for this series. Going to episode 6. What do you think?
今までプールなんて女友達としか行ったことないし。
Of course, it's embarrassing. I could never wear something like this. Aw. Who are you trying to convince? It's talking to herself. There you go. That's cute. Please don't try and convince yourself of that and then do some stupid shit though. Like, seriously. Just the confidence, come on. Yeah. You're going for a compliment, and if you do some dumb shit, you won't get it. So... Oh no, I was wrong. Honestly, those two I was right. Shizuka I thought would have won a bit more like cutesy, nice. Okay though. Oh yeah, how's this gonna work? Oh, she has it covered. It works. Different. I like her hair. She's struggling to showcase. Ah, I figured. I'm done, I'm just covered. Wow. Look how happy she is when she says that. She's gonna really having the time of her life here. Never mind. No, she's not. No. Jesus fucking Christ. Absolutely. 100%. It's noises, my brother. Settle down. Oh, jealousy. Whoa. Straight to it. Right. I respect her so much. Oh no. And Shizuka just floated away. Everybody forgot about her. I hope she does like a full lap around and she comes back. Jesus Christ, Hakari. What the... Oh, wait a minute. Slap her with the titty. Yeah. She just spaces out every time. She made her lap. She's coming back. I feel so bad for her. She's gonna be here all day. Oh no. Can she swim? Oh no. Washed ashore.
4月某日、とあるスパリゾート、流れるプールの中州にて、静香は遭難した。
エイヤイさん、急いで係員さんを探しましょう。男の係員さんを。
Right. Right.
男の係員。
Glad they're on the same page, except the only ones who work here are female, huh? No running. Oh. I'll beat the fuck out of them. I don't know, bro.
時速60キロの車から手を出して受ける風圧でおっぱいを感じるという説を実践したこともあったが、やってな。所詮空気。そこに本物はなかった。おっぱいの感触。
Yeah, I'm gonna apologize, bro. Don't do that.
腕なんか掴んじゃって
No.
積極的。じゃあ俺も君のおっぱい掴んじゃもう。
はかりとなのに迫る。
How did it turn into lust?
遭難してしまった静香。謎の寒気を訴えるからね。死の淵をさまようレンタロウ。
What will happen?
どうだスパリゾート編。
あなたに何かあったってレンタロウ君は悲しみますよ。私は付き合ったばかり。あなたはそうじゃない。理論的に考えてあなたに何かあった方が愛情レンタロウは悲しむ。
何
I'm fighting her now.
あなたたちの相手なんかしません。花園はかり。一体何を。
いい度胸じゃねえ。
But he values you all equally.
相手してもらうしかねえな。やめろ。
レンタロウ君。愛情レン
Just
タ
a
ロウ。
bunch of
俺の
creeps.
彼女たちに何言ってんだよ。
Plural.
アイアンクローの向こう側で決め台詞を。彼女で邪魔すんじゃねえ。こっちはその女に。
I have to fuck her up.
それは無理やり私の腕を掴もうとしたから。
わかった。じゃあナノが目を潰した分、俺があんたたちと好きなだけ遊んでやるか。
おめえと遊んで何になるってんだよ。もういい。どっちがおめえの彼女なんだよ。
Both.
そっちだけ連れてとっとと行け。二人とも俺の彼女だ。適当なこと抜かしてんじゃね
Yeah, it's not that easy to convince the others.
話した。
え。なめたこと抜かしやがって。だったらよ、今ここで二人と
I'll do it at the same time.
本当に二人とも彼女なら余裕だよな。おぼら
I love this because usually the characters are trying to get around it, right? By not doing it. But they're gonna be able to, like, no issue, yeah.
これでいい。私たちは二人とも正真正銘レンタロウ君。
There's two others here too, in case you needed to know.
やがって。何？何があったの？見えないんだけど。
The thing is, you could chalk everything that's happening with her here up to like her character, but it's a very real thing that happens to a lot of people with the way that she's like kind of embarrassed and feeling. They're like Alright, so he just woke up on his own. Got it. I couldn't possibly let something like that. She did. Aww. Feel like you learned a little bit more now. Yeah, about that. What if somebody just took her? This poor guy cannot relax. This poor girl. Oh no! Ooh. She can't call back. Oh, this could be big for her. Can you do it? That's also true. Come on. Come on. The pitch that only she can make. What a guy. Of course, he's got everything. That's 3. There's 1 left. There's 1 left. There's one who needs a lot to still happen still this episode. The girls in the back. Right, because she has a complex. Can't even get it out. Everybody has their own appeal too. I'm just, yeah. That is not true. Come on. He's so over this shit. Bring a smile to your face, bro. You got what you wanted? She's gonna pass out at this point. Sure. There you go. That's a perfect line to use there. And now can we go 4 for 4? With her as the initiator though? Probably not. Make sure the coast is clear. Alright, you're good.
かわいい
レンタロウ
コロネかわいいかわいいかわいいかわいいただいま
Oh, they're teaching.
いいんだからね。体は温まったの？まあね。水着とっても可愛いじゃないですか。別に。
She's normal.
何が出るんですか？
A montage out. As expected, at least by me, it went exactly, basically as expected by me. Which is not a bad thing. Executed extremely well. And I think, I mean, better than I probably would have written it myself and imagined it could have been. But basically, I mean, similar sort of thing here. It's two girls, especially one of them who openly asked for this, of course, has things that she wants to flaunt and showcase in a way, especially in comparison to the other. She feels that she can get a step up in a way, right? And we end up seeing that exactly in this situation with AI being there as well. Hers also makes sense because she has such a I don't give a fuck attitude because it's just whatever the efficiency thing is. I was struggling to understand, I guess, what she would wear as a result of that, but ended up just not, I guess, mattering too much or being a focus on that. But being somebody who still does have things that she can showcase herself as well, it works out pretty well. When it comes to the other two, Shizuka seemed to be a pretty obvious candidate to just kind of be the school swimsuit version, which I assumed for whatever reason wouldn't actually be the case. I assumed that we would play joke with Karne if we were going to do that, but then I was thinking we probably actually wouldn't end up going that route with her, and it would just be more of her being a bit more reserved and covered because she wants to kind of protect herself because of, you know, her complex with her size and everything, and also in comparison, like when it comes to comparing bodies and stuff like that of other people to you, especially when it comes to being with Rentaro in the situation and her feeling like probably she isn't as desired or looked at or needed in this situation because of the other girls, and of course she's going to be able to be put down on that. So instead of actually, I guess, showing anything off that she does have, she chooses to kind of be reserved and kind of cover herself up, which at the end of the day too ends up making her reveal all the more better, and also just adds to it because everybody else is so openly like okay with it, and because she decides to be a bit more reserved in that situation, that when you kind of like the entire time just want her to finally do it, and it makes you want it more than I guess when you see the other people, and then it makes you kind of appreciate and enjoy it more when she actually does reveal it. At least that's how I kind of take it. I mean, I feel like that's the case with a lot of things. It's you'd rather be kind of teased in a lot of these situations rather than actually have the thing, and it just allows to hit a little bit harder. I don't know. I think that that's a normal thing, or a more commonly kind of accepted thing, I guess. I don't know the right word I'm looking for, but regardless, I kind of expected her to be a bit more of a covered up route as well, that they would end up going with her. And then Shizuka, I thought that they were just going to play like the really cutesy thing, which I guess they kind of do with her situation, but they ended up flipping them a little bit from where I expected. But for the most part, that happened. And then what I mean by this is pretty standard, or what I expected, is nothing happened, right? We get to see the way that AI kind of introduces or works within this group now with all these other girls, which is about kind of how I expected for the most part. Actually, it's working a lot better. I thought that she would be a bit more like difficult, I guess, to kind of get along with them. Easily Karne was going to be the most difficult, which we are proving to see. I mean, Karne fucking pulled out the head kick and tried going off, which ended up making for a really funny moment. But I assume them two were going to kind of have issues and butt heads a little bit of how one of them does it versus the other one being so, you know, not straight to the point, whereas the other one kind of is. It would of course make things a little bit more difficult with them too. But the dynamic of her being introduced here works really well, I think, in comparison to, or not in comparison, but just how I assumed it would go. But I think that that's pretty cool. And then just to add a little bit more to it, they kind of introduce some things with like Shizuka being lost, or the other guys kind of coming involved, and Rentaro having to be the savior in those sort of situations. And he ends up being that, right? He ends up being the hero in a lot of these moments, while the others do have their moments, especially AI being able to stand up for Hakari in the situation and be able to actually do something, especially to that guy, and blinding him and taking his vision, of course. it actually is pretty cool, I guess, just to see how much Rentaro really cares. She's able to actually see a different side of him that she never was able to before, and hasn't been able to. But he ends up getting in the way. He causes, things like that to happen. He's a savior in that situation. I guess you could look at it like that. He definitely is in Shizuka's situation, comes to the rescue for that, and he kind of comforts Karane in hers and allows her to kind of be open up, and also just be like, I'm sick of your fucking act. And force her to kind of reveal it, which I think is also great. And he basically gets rewarded by all of them at the end of the day for that, which I think is fantastic. It worked out pretty well. Pretty set up, pretty straightforward, but all works out good and well by the end of it. I love the beginning here of her kind of deciding what it is that she wants to do and how she wants to kind of approach this, but getting really nervous and not knowing exactly what it is, how it is that she should be dressing, especially in this moment, especially trying to appeal to somebody like him, even though it's obvious to the viewer, of course, that he's going to be happy with anything, but her also thinking of what these other girls can bring to the table in comparison to her makes it way harder, and it's understandable. I love her just talking to herself and just being like, oh, these are cute. And then being like, actually, it's not like they're cute or anything. And just getting the girl in the back kind of losing her fucking mind as a result. We end up showing off. We showcase everybody. Rentaro is absolutely loving his moment. I love Shizuka, especially at the beginning moments. I think she was fantastic. Being able to cover her phone like this so that she could still use it and so that it doesn't get wet at all. Her hair looks great too. And then also when we put her at the beginning and everybody goes in the pool and everybody's kind of just arguing or whatever, and she's just floating around and spinning. She has some really good moments, I think, at the beginning. Karane shows up, of course, all covered up, and then we end up getting to our argument and our fight where she starts trying to head kick her, which I think is funny. They set up for the most of it a bunch of fucking comedy things. Like, this is fucking outrageous. It's unnecessary. But it is what it is. It's there. I also love the direct approach, of course. Somebody like AI here is so important, I guess, in these moments, because it allows the others who are so roundabout with everything to ultimately have to kind of speed up their process in a way, because they realize that somebody else has so much more courage and confidence in the ability to actually do this. Of course, it makes Takari not have to go out of her way and do the things that she usually does on accident all the time, right? And be able to put that into actual action here, which I think is great. So of course they're going back and forth. I love how he just fucking passes at in the moment and bleeds out in the pool. The mouth doesn't work. The jokes here work pretty well. Shizuka just fucking spinning out of control into the point that her thing pops and she goes up and washes ashore, which is never a great situation for them to be in. We end up meeting these guys. This guy's fucking outrageous for what he's doing at the air and everything. I love how we end up blinding him, and then we get into a big fight, which is, it's fun for what it is. It's not the best thing in the world, but definitely the worst. Ultimately ends up coming up where he has to stand up for his girlfriends in this moment. Of course he does, and then just the shock that happens, especially when he ends up saying that they're both his, which I love. My favorite thing though is how we can directly skip. You see this in a lot of things, where somebody, I guess, is like fake acting in like a situation, and then they put them to the test, and they're like, oh yeah, if you're really dating, you do this, right? But usually they try and do something, or they try and cover themselves, or they try and, like, it's a very interesting moment, at least for how the series will approach it, because typically you have a strong read, right? If it's strong comedy based, or if it's strong just something that's not as serious, I guess, and you don't expect a lot of development and stuff in those moments, they won't actually end up doing it. They'll cover it, or they'll use their hand that puts like a finger in the way, or they'll do something. But in these moments, right, especially with how this is and how direct a lot of these characters are, of course they're going to be okay doing it, which I think is great, because you can of course skip another step entirely there, which makes things fascinating. I also love like this, like the little moments like this when they showcase Karane in this, because it allows you to see something. Like, you can actually see that she is wearing like something underneath. Like, of course you already knew as the viewer, but it's like a small tease into what exactly is to come, which I actually like a lot, because it does definitely confirm the thing that she was looking at the beginning. But I really just, I don't know, I appreciate like a frame like this for, I mean, multiple reasons. But you know what I'm trying to get at, I would hope, at least. I also love here how she doesn't have to go to the mouth-to-mouth route either, and all she has to do is mention that they're in trouble, and he immediately springs up and goes into action, which results in things going really, really well. We find Shizuka, of course, and we're the hero in this moment once again. Another moment. I like how we get the Screech moment where she's trying to communicate to him, but it's a lot of courage, of course, in this moment for her to finally be able to speak up and say something. But isn't enough like for anybody else but him to be able to hear, and that's that special connection, I guess, the end of the day they have. I mean, it's also ramped up because of the comedy aspect of it, and him being able to only pick up on like the single pitch that of course she was going to be able to do, right? But it works out, and it's a step in the right direction for her. Ultimately she gets her reward at the end of this as well, and that leaves 3 down with 1 to go. I like the moment here with the conversation that they have here. Why exactly also she doesn't want to reveal this, or she isn't comfortable being in this moment, and of course she's covered up even if she isn't cold or anything, like she's been kind of lying and saying, and she has valid reason for this, right? Like you can easily look at this situation and just be like, shut up, just do it, right? Which is what he ends up doing, and there's nothing wrong with that approach, because that is probably the appropriate thing. But you also have to kind of look into the head of this. I mean, how many times do you know people, or have you seen people who are not confident enough in themselves, and like especially guys, for example, who will go like to a pool or a beach, who will be bigger, and they'll end up wearing a t-shirt or something because they're embarrassed about being around other people and seeing them, and how much weight they have on them or whatever it is, right? And especially girls as well, who maybe don't have bodies or are a little bit nervous about showcasing it. And it could be another weight thing, or it could also just be in Karne's situation like this here, where they don't feel that they have anything, you know, of value to kind of show off, and they're a little bit nervous and afraid of actually exposing themselves or their bodies or whatever in these situations. And of course it makes her feel off, being able to compare herself to these other girls. That's why this is such a bad situation for her to be in with all these other girls, because it puts you in a situation where she's like this. She's like, oh, you have one, she's tiny, she's cute, it all makes sense. You have others who are built up really well, like exactly how they probably should be, right? But then you have somebody like me who's just tall, who's not built like in the way that you probably would hope, or in comparison to what I guess many would desire in this situation, right? And she kind of is very put off by that, at least internally, and it kind of bothers her, of course. Something I think is very natural for that to happen. I love how he just gives up though, and he's like, fuck you, and he just he rips it off. He's like, I can't keep dealing with this shit, which I think is absolutely great. And of course it looks better than all the others. It's just of course it's natural, the best girl looks the best, right? That's the only way that they can do that. I absolutely love this moment, the moment of intimacy that you especially get out of this, especially being able to hold each other for as long as they are able to. It's a different level, I guess, than the way that they were able to connect and be with the others, and it puts both of them into a state of kind of being a bit more embarrassed isn't the right word, but a bit more, I guess, nervous or flustered in this moment than usually they probably would have if this was like normal with anybody else. And it allows you to see a kind of uniqueness to their connection that they have in comparison to the others, and it makes this moment all the more special, as you see by them kind of fucking screaming out about how much they like the other person afterwards, which I think is fantastic. And then we get a fun little montage, of course, of everybody, which I really love as well, and we get to see them all have fun to end us off. That's going to be all, not too much, you know, of course, progression wise, but nonetheless very fun episode, especially fan service at that, and progresses them a little bit, gets AI into the group a bit more, and we move forward. I'd assume to come next girl probably on the edge. It's also possible that we do one more. I feel like maybe just to mix up formula a little bit, because we immediately did everybody gets together, which is good, then here we go, new girl, right? I think it would make sense to do that again, but it would also make plenty of sense if they're just like, change it up a little bit, here's another episode of something like this, then we push you a bit more forward, right? I think that could work out really well, but who knows, really. We'll end up seeing when episode, whatever the next one is, comes out. If you liked it all, like and subscribe to my launch, may feel free to check out that business channel. Let me comments for this episode series. I'll be back for I got the episode over on episode 7. That'll be out. I'm not even going to make any promises. I was going to say I think I'll be on time, but I have no idea. I'm behind on everything. So we'll end up seeing what happens. Hopefully see you there. Peace.